Imagine waking up on a morning in 2025. Everything seems normal. The sun rises, the streets are busy, people go about their routines. But behind this apparent calm, something invisible is already underway. What if I told you that World War III may have already begun, and you didn't even notice? Not with tanks crossing borders, nor with bombs falling from the sky, but with something much more silent: disinformation, digital attacks, and large-scale manipulation. This war is not fought on distant battlefields, but on your phone, in your bank account, in the news you read, and even in the decisions you believe you are making on your own. Today, you are going to discover how a conflict like this could completely transform your life, and why understanding it might be your only way to protect yourself. When we talk about wars, we immediately think of great historical images: soldiers in trenches, cities in ruins, bombs devastating everything around. But the 21st century brought a new form of conflict. It's called hybrid warfare, and it combines different fronts: cyber, economic, psychological, and political. It's a war in which the enemy doesn't need weapons. They can be behind a screen, typing lines of code that, in seconds, bring down entire systems. It's a confrontation where territories aren't invaded by armies, but with carefully planned false information designed to manipulate millions. Now, imagine what the beginning of a World War III in 2025 would look like. You wake up early to go to work, and when you try to pay for your coffee, the card doesn't work. The cashier says the system is down nationwide. You try to open your banking app, but it won't load. The internet is slow, almost offline. When you turn on the TV, the news is contradictory. Some channels talk about technical failures, others about a supposed cyber attack, while some claim everything is under control. At night, the lights in your city flicker and suddenly several neighborhoods go dark. Hospitals are forced to cancel surgeries because equipment isn't working. The government promises emergency measures, but people no longer know who to trust. This is how an invisible war can begin, not with a bang, but with the slow, silent collapse of the structures that keep our lives running. And the weapons of this war? They are not cannons or missiles, but algorithms, codes, and information. Cyber attacks can paralyze power grids, shut down banks, delay flights, and even disable military systems. Fake news and deepfakes create false versions of reality that look more real than the truth itself. Imagine seeing a perfect video of a president declaring war when that speech never actually happened. Artificial intelligence, when misused, can manipulate social media with millions of bots spreading false narratives until they seem unquestionable. And then there are economic weapons: manipulated digital currencies, disrupted supply chains, sanctions that strangle entire nations. All of this, when used together, can devastate countries without a single shot being fired. But perhaps the scariest part is thinking about the direct impact on ordinary people's lives. Imagine going days without the internet. How would you communicate? How would you work? How would you pay your bills? Without banks operating, cards and digital transfers become useless. Supermarkets can't restock because transportation and logistics systems have been paralyzed. Shelves empty out and tensions rise. At the same time, fake videos spread online showing supposed attacks in nearby cities. People panic, families argue, friends fight, neighbors distrust one another. The enemy doesn't need to destroy buildings because it has already destroyed the trust that unites people. This is the essence of silent warfare, not just striking a country's infrastructure, but also the minds of its population. And if we stop to think, hasn't this war already begun? In recent years, we've seen hackers take down hospitals, companies, and even oil pipelines. We've seen elections influenced by massive waves of disinformation. We've seen countries accuse each other of digital espionage. The battle for control over artificial intelligence and social media has become a global battlefield. What does this mean? That maybe we are already inside a third world war, only it doesn't look like any other we'd known. There are no soldiers in the streets, but battles are being fought every day in the shadows of the internet. What may happen starting in 2025 depends on the choices we make today. In a pessimistic scenario, the world falls into a silent collapse. Economies crash, governments lose credibility, information loses all value, and people no longer know who to trust. Society fragments until there is no order left. But there is also another path. The path where humanity understands the risks in time and builds defenses. International agreements on cybersecurity, laws to fight digital manipulation, education to teach people how to identify false information. In this scenario, knowledge becomes our greatest weapon. If there is one lesson this future shows us, it is that the silent war will not be won with traditional weapons. It will be won or lost in people's minds. That's why it has never been so important to question, reflect, and seek reliable sources. It has never been so vital to understand that sharing responsible information is a form of resistance. Because if World War III has already begun, every comment and every conscious share is a choice of sides in this invisible conflict. And this is where I ask you for something. If this video made you reflect, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and comment what you think. Are we already living through a silent World War III? Your participation not only helps this channel grow, but also strengthens this network of knowledge that may be our best defense against disinformation. Together, we can turn information into power and show that even in an invisible war, we still have a voice.